Hey everyone, Vicente here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I rebuilt a website for a client in just under 1 day. First, I'm going to walk you through the website that they had before we got started, the main issues that we found, and then I'm going to show you the new version and some things that we took into consideration when we built it. So let's get started. So this was the version of the website that they had before we got started. So we're going to scroll through it and I'm going to walk you through the main issues that we found. So starting with the hero section, we have this animation here with images. And at a first glance, it does look pretty impressive. It looks pretty nice, but there's a lot of issues actually when you start digging into it. First of all, the assets are not great quality. The photos look like screenshots from videos, and it actually decreases the perceived quality of what we're looking at. And this is very important because she's a high-end coach. This landing page is actually for a fitness coach that specializes in both rehab and athletic performance. She is incredibly strong, one of the strongest women in the world, probably. And she's an IFBB pro athlete, and she has a lot of experience. And okay, so now we're going to go back up. So, in terms of the aesthetics, here's some of the issues. They were going for a retro vibe with the typography, and I like the glow effect and I like the gradient, but there's a few problems with just overwhelming the user. So this text right here is way too long. The subheading shouldn't be more than 2 to 3 lines max. And just in general, when you have more than 3 lines of text, you should align it to the left so that it is very easy to read. Otherwise, it's hard to read because you have to find this line to the left, and therefore people don't read it as much. Then another problem is we have just way too much going on. Like I said before, we have this gradient, this different gradient, and then you have the photo scrolling. And some of them, as you can see, they get in front of the heading, but behind the subheading right there. And then you can't read it at all. And on top of that, all of these images are on top of this background image that just doesn't look great when you put it all together. They were going for a cool vibe. And I would say that to a certain extent, they got it, but it's just not doing her justice with the branding. Then I like this gradient and I like the glow effect. And as you can see, the button is just tilted diagonally. That looks good, but the nut bar right here does not have the same effect. So there we have some inconsistencies that are just not good if we're going for a premium look. We want consistency, as that is one of the most important things in web design or just design in general. On that note of consistency, we have way too many typographies. We have this font right here. We have this font right here, but then we have a different font for the navbar. That's just an inconsistency that we need to avoid. Then in terms of messaging, that is one of the biggest flaws that this page had, because it is very, very, very vague. If someone comes here, they don't know what they're getting into, what they should sign up for, why they should choose her. It's just overall it feels a little bit AI generated. So we needed to fix that for the new version. Another problem is we are going to be driving people from Instagram to this page from her Instagram profile. And this is a website with 4 pages. And therefore, that makes it harder to measure just conversions and to get people where we want them to go. So for the new version, we actually replaced this website with just one landing page so that it's easier to drive conversions and to measure conversions as well. So let's keep scrolling down, see what else we can find. Yeah, so the button that says book a call, it's like, okay, what kind of call? Why do I want to book that call? What's in it for me if I book a call? And how long is the call? Like, there's a lot of questions that come from that button. I mean, it is not specific enough. Then as we scroll down, we get one-on-one consultations. That's good. And then the primary button looks exactly the same as book a call, but it's for a different action. We want to have the primary button be for just the one action, and then we want different buttons to have a different look. For example, it could be just a stroke and not the fill if we want them to go somewhere else, but we should keep it consistent in terms of what the main button does and what the main button looks like. So as we go down here, we have some benefits, but the problem is, like I said before, they're just vague and they're not specific enough. So then we have testimonials. That's great. Then we have this section with cool benefits, but again, they're not hitting the mark in the sense that they're not specific enough. And then finally, we have a push beyond limit. So this section right here is a form, book a call with Paradigm Performance. And So as you can say, it says access now. So the call to action is not consistent with book a call, which is what we want them to do. And those inconsistencies may cause people to be confused and not take action. So now on to the new version, and let me show you what we did. So here's a new version of the site, and I want to point out a couple of things, both on the design side and then on the messaging side, which is perhaps more important. So on the design side, my client asked for something that was very bold and very much Nike inspired. So that's what we aim for, especially with the typography. We wanted it to be very catchy, and so we made it the center of attention. But then in terms of the messaging and the structure, that's where it becomes really important, because her main specialty, the trainer, is helping people train hard, helping people reach their full potential, help people recover, and do all of this without pain. And that is her main value proposition and what makes her unique. So we really needed to emphasize that through the messaging. So that's where we started with the heading saying, train like an athlete, recover without pain. From what she was saying on podcasts that I listened to, the main thing is that her clients want to feel like an athlete. They don't want to feel like a patient. They don't want to go to a clinic and not feel like the athletes that they are. So that was very, very important. So then in terms of looks, we have this gradient in the back, which I always like gradients. It really elevate the design very quickly. And then when you move the cursor around, as you can tell, the heading kind of follows you. And then we replace the call to action with schedule free consultation so that it's free. That's always an appealing word. And now they know what they're getting when they push that button. And then when you hover over it, you also get this glow animation just because it looks cool. So yeah. And then right below, we added immediately social proof to help people know that she's legit and to establish trust, and of course incentivize people to click. These are actually shorter parts of longer testimonials. So what I kept from the testimonials was the parts where they specify the service or the benefit that we want to highlight. It's not just she's great or good service or I would recommend. Ideally, when you have the chance, you want your testimonials to talk specifically about the benefit that you want to highlight or your unique value proposition. Then as we scroll down, here's another version of the hero section, but this one has a video. This will be for versions of the site where they want to add a video for A/B testing or whatnot. Then as you keep scrolling down, this section is called the pain agitate solution. Basically what we do is we dig into their pain and then we agitate it with examples and more questions. These are actually questions that I got again from a podcast of her where she was talking about her clients' pain points. So she said it best, so we kept exactly that phrasing. And then finally, we established ourselves as the solution with, again, a new call to action. Then how we do it. Here's when we really focus on the benefits. In this case, this subheading, we haven't finished it yet, but you get the idea that we really want to show the fact that we're blending rehab and athletic performance, that it is an individual approach. That is something that was said on the prior version, so we kept it here, and that we help people achieve their ideal body and their confidence without pain. Because these are the things that make her different, and these are the things that her clients value. So we really made sure that we nail it down. Then as we keep going down, now testimonials, we are of course keeping testimonials, but now we're turning this into a slider. Why? So that we can add a big image, so to build even more trust and make them more specific, and we leave more room to make sure that the testimonials are long and specific. And now people can click through them if they want to. Here we added a little about me section, very important for trust building, and we used this very nice photo of her. And just for looks, we changed the scroll speed of the content. I don't know if you can tell from the screen recording, but this text is scrolling at a different speed than the rest of the page. Then this is another section that's very important to add a lot of times, and it is what are the steps that people are going to follow in order to book a call or take action or do whatever it is that we want them to do. This is very important because a lot of times the buying process may seem obvious for you, but for random users or possible clients, it all feels overwhelming. So just simplifying the process and letting them know exactly what the process looks like helps feel them more at ease, and it helps them convert more. And then for the booking part, we replaced that form with a calendar so that it's more easy and intuitive to. We kept this section right here because it looked really nice and cool, so we kept it. And then finally here we have two different versions of sections where we offer lead magnets. These are going to be used in the future. So that was a breakdown of the remodel I did for my client site. It took about a week to deliver due to feedback cycles, but if I think about how much time I spent building the site, it was only about a day. If you want to know how I did that, you can watch other videos on my channel where I show you the method that I used to build the websites that look like this in record time. So talk to you soon.